This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys. Good morning or good evening again. So today we will continue with where we left yesterday. Today we wanted to. Yesterday I gave a high level overview on the various topics that we will cover as part of the engineering course. Today we will go a little bit detail on each of the topics so that you will get a clarity on what exactly we are going to learn in each of these specific topics. Okay, so before going there, I was showing you the application e-library application, right? So this is the code. This is the e-library package. That is something which we deployed in the Tomcat. Okay, so within this code, right? This is available in the drive. The entire thing can be downloaded to your machine in your Eclipse, so that you can also look into it. You can also play around with the code, whatever files that I give it for to replace. Say, for example, if I'm going to create any response time problem with login, right? So I will add something in admin login.java or the view library in Java. So that file will be available in the Google Drive, which you have to just replace that in your workspace, so that you can recreate that problem in your machine and you can troubleshoot. Okay. So number one, this entire code will be given to you, and then the individual files will also be given to you, so that, like whatever I mentioned yesterday, if I wanted to do a memory leak, create a memory leak issue, I will provide you the uh, particular, say, library mem.java, and then admin login.java. Wherever I have create memory issue, this admin login.java, I would have created a new file with memory issue. Similarly, library mem.java. These will be given to you in the drive, so that you can replace it in the original uh, directory. Okay, so this contains all the entire code base which will be given to you. And in general, after modifying the code, right, we just need to go and extract into a war file, um, and then we will go and put it in the Tomcat. Okay, every time whenever we are going to do a changes in the code, this is typically a developer will do, right? That is what we also will try to do. Just try to understand how a developer will go and create those jar files or war files. We also, from tomorrow, we will have a opening class for the Java concepts and Java hands-on, right? There we'll go and create small programs, and then we will try to connect with the database. We'll try to connect with the third-party calls, and then add external jar files, and then create a jar file. All these things we'll be doing hands-on, so that we will get that confidence about how a typically developer will do these things from their side. Okay, this e-library application. So whenever we are going to do make a changes, we go and do export this WAR file, and then we will go and put it in a directory. Okay. Um, so these things is what these minimal things, you can do it in your own laptop with Java and Eclipse. If you have it, you can go and do these things. And then once you have this copied to a Tomcat folder, right? This is a Tomcat which you have to download again. The link for that is available in the Google Sheet. So in the web apps folder, okay, so this e-library.war file is now copied at time 10. So if I go back, and then I can go and just start the Tomcat. So once it is started, the e-library app would be available over the uh, localhost 8082 in a machine. Okay. This is a minimum setup that we would expect you to have it in your machine if at all you wanted to do hands-on practice. Okay, though it is not mandatory for you to have the setup. Whoever really wanted to get into that engineering space, it is highly recommended if you wanted to, if you do this hands-on, just a 3-4 minimum things. You have to have Java, you have to have Tomcat, you have to have Eclipse, and you need to just follow the sessions. Nothing else. All other tools are open source or easily installable tools only. Okay, fine. So now we just created a OR file and then we deployed it in the Tomcat. Okay, this is just more for our understanding on what we are going to do in the course. Okay, so in the course we will get into this in detail, how to set this Java variable, Java environmental variables, all these things we'll look into detail. But this is more into the intro about what we are going to learn. So we are going to make use of the e-library code, and we'll make changes to the code to create response time problem, to create thread problems, to create a memory problems, and then we will go and deploy it in a similar way, and we'll go start the server. And then once the server is started, let me open the local host. Okay, and then you go and enter it. So you get the admin login page, and then you have this view librarian, add librarian. There are multiple functionalities that is available in this application, which we will be using it for our all our testing and engineering work. Okay, so this is one part. Okay, this is this application which we'll be using throughout the our course for our learning. And then let me go to the course content. I think the data, yeah, this is coming as empty. The reason is I think the MySQL in my machine, I think it's not running. Let me go and start it. So the MySQL as well, the link to download MySQL is also will be available in the Google Sheet, where you can just go and download it. And then over the once the course is you are into the course, right, we will also provide details about how to go and create these tables, and then how to connect this database with our e-library application. All these things we will learn as part of the course. Okay, so I'm just going to start the MySQL server here, so that the e-library application today, now it is giving a empty page. If you go and check in the log, it might have given exception. It is giving java dot null pointer exception, saying there's a communication failure, com.jdbc exception, communication link failure. So most of the time when database is not reachable or server is down, in the UI you will get a data will not be returned, right? It will be empty page. We'll go and say something is not working. But when you go and check the log file, you will find something relevant to this. It says communication link failure, JDBC exception, right? So which means some problem with the connectivity with the JDBC connectivity with the database. And in our case, the MySQL was down. Now it is it started? Still not started. Yeah, I think it is started only. Let me go and check. We'll go and yeah, it is running. It is refresh. Yeah, it is running now. Okay, so now if we go and do the view librarian, it should return the data. Okay, so this is more about a basic setup what we need for our course. Okay, it comes, all the data is fetched now. Okay, fine. Now we will go back to the course content one by one. Okay, okay, so this is something, as I said yesterday, we wanted to remove the initial roadblock. So before going into any of the engineering session, directly going into response time analysis or memory leak analysis, heat dump analysis, we wanted to have this very good prep sessions. We should think ourselves as a developer first. Okay, when I say think like a developer, we're not going to do hardcore engineering, hardcore development of an application. It is more of learning some very basics. Okay, you should I'm very confident in going and creating a project in Eclipse, creating a class file, creating a method, connecting to a database, connecting to a third-party service, compiling it, creating a war file, creating a jar file, adding the external jar file to your own Eclipse project. All these things we wanted to do it by ourselves. That is what we will learn it in the Think Like a Developer course, which will start tomorrow. Okay, so first session is going to be we'll go and understand few basic concepts about the Java. Will learn how to set the environmental variables in your mission, setting the Java path, and then understanding few concepts about JVM, and along with that we'll go and do the programmings. Okay, create a single class file, create multiple class files, call one method from another class file. All these things, adding a code for connecting to the MySQL DB, connecting to making HTTP connection to a third-party call. All these things we will do it hands-on as part of the Think Like a Developer course. That will be the prep session. We'll have at least two sessions to start with. Okay. Then we will have another detailed session about the JVM concepts. What are the various components about JVM? Understanding the memory architecture, learning about your process, learning about threads. So various types of JVMs, all these basic concepts about the JVM, we will learn as part of the basics of JVM. Okay, once we get these basics about Java, hands-on, and JVM, then we will go into our regular or engineering courses. Okay, so as I said yesterday, we will think ourselves like there's a new project, new application is getting developed, and we as a performance engineer getting into a project early in the life cycle, and what is our going to be our role? How are we going to work with the developers? As and when they create new pages, new functionalities, we will involve in doing a early profiling, early optimization, right? That is the role of the performance engineer. If you look into this SDLC life cycle, right? Normally in the testing phase, we go and do all these load testing, stress testing, creating scripts. But as a performance engineer, we will get early in the life cycle, at least in the development phase. Along with the developer, we will go and do the code profiling, memory leak analysis, method hotspots, client-side profiling. All these activity we will be doing along with the developer. So in the response time analysis, we'll use a combination of a couple of tools, your Chrome developer tools, your Tomcat access logs, JProfiler. So combined together, we will go and create a response time problem in the code, and we'll go and first test it, find out the response time problem, which layer is the problem with the client side, or which is a problem with the server side, or with the particular code, or whatever it is. We will go and debug the problem using tools like JProfiler, and we'll find the root cause, and then come back to the code, see the code, and then go and fix those. That is how we will go and address the response time problem from a single user perspective, early performance, not from a load testing. So load testing is a little different. This is more about a single user server side profiling that we do in the early life cycle from a, as part of the engineering scope. And then similarly, as from similar to response time problem, right? Optimizing the response time for every page, for every functionality in your application, we need to optimize the response time. We should also optimize the memory. Okay, if there is a memory leak, what are the memory leak? What are the root cause? All these things we will again use combination of Visual VM, JProfilers, your Eclipse, MAT, right? All these things in detail we will look into it. In fact, I'll just show the memory. It is going to be as extensive as, I'll just quickly walk you through the various things which we look into it, right? So we look into the stack and the way the stack and heap works as part of the JVM memory architecture. We will look into a couple of maybe you would have seen the Stack Overflow website, right? A site called Stack Overflow. So we'll look into what is that Stack Overflow error. That's another memory problem with respect to stack. We'll look into the Stack Overflow error, and then we will go and learn about how is it related with how the thread and stacks are related, and then we'll go and do the profiling, go and do the memory leak analysis for a couple of problem statements, couple of functionalities. Okay, and then we look into common memory problems that we encounter in the applications, a couple of JVM tuning flags, and then during endurance tests, what are the things which we will be looking into it? What are the memory patterns we will be looking into it? And then we'll go into the heap dumps, how to take the heap dump, when to take the heap dump, what are the various options available. We'll go and practically take the heap dumps, okay, and then we will go and analyze those heap dumps using Eclipse Mat, right, and then find out the root cause. So memory is going to be intensive sessions, starting from understanding the stack and memory, sorry, the stack and heap, and then relationship between your stack and heap, the threads and stacks, and then into the memory leak problems, memory leak analysis, and then JVM tuning flags with respect to the minimum heap and maximum heaps. Okay, and then that is part of the single user. Now, when it goes to the load testing, then during load testing or endurance testing, we will look into what are the patterns we will be looking for with respect to memory leaks or memory patterns, and then heap dumps and various options of heap dump, how to analyze it. Then as part of the extension of the memory, we also go and learn about a couple of important concepts of shallow heap, retained heap, how it is related to the garbage collection, and what happens in the GC cycle. And during GC, what are the various activities that will happen, that will be that a JVM will be doing it, and the object promotions within your heap, how the object gets promoted, and various flags, various tuning flags also we will be looking into it from a GC tuning perspective, and then GC log analysis. All these things practically we'll go into it. We'll go and look into the object promotion practically. We'll go and look into the GC logs. So pretty much everything from a memory perspective is also going to be practical only. Okay, and we'll also look into various collectors, the applicability of these collectors, how these algorithms fits into various requirement of your real-time applications, batch applications. Okay, so that is how the comprehensive the memory sessions are going to be as part of your the after response time. We will go and look into the memory, and then your threads. Again, let me open the thread as well. So thread contentions, thread configurations, thread pool configurations, and then we'll also look into an important concept of synchronizations, how it is going to impact the thread usage. Then we'll go and take the thread dumps, and then various states of the thread, and then we'll go and analyze the thread dumps using the JVisual VM. How to take the thread dump, when to take the thread dump, what is the approach we follow to take the thread dumps. All these things in detail, we'll look into it from the Java threads perspective. Okay, again, followed by memory, thread is also going to be an important topic that we will be looking into it. Okay, so now we have seen the memory, we have seen response time problem, we have seen thread problems, and then one more component, important component, is going to be your client side, right? So let me open the client side slides. Again, this is going to be just not client side analysis. It's a client side profiling, client side engineering, comprehensive sessions for client side alone. So from a client side perspective, first we will start with what from a bottom approach, right? As a tester, what we will do, how we will go and do a client side analysis as a first time user, as a repeated user. What are the various metrics we will be looking into it in a developer tool, how to get those data, how to analyze it, and then we'll be looking into a couple of important APIs that is available in the browser, Paint APIs, navigation APIs. These are the JavaScript APIs that is available, which is important to go and collect this metrics. Any tool, if you take it, Dynatrace or your web page test or Lighthouse, VoiceFlow, all these tools will get the data from these source page, so your browser APIs. We'll learn what are those APIs, how to execute those APIs in the browser, how to execute this JavaScript in the browser. Okay, and we will go and look into it. How do we go and provide this deliverable to your project team? Time to first paint, time to contextual paint, page size, load time, with cache and without cache. How do you go and arrive at the problematic area? And then depending upon the problem, we'll also go and provide some optimization, right, as part of the engineering. So engineering is just not about testing, it's again going and giving the optimization. So we'll look into a couple of important recommendation as an engineer you can go and give it. We'll go and look into some of the resource compression, minification of JavaScripts, all these things practically. We will go and do this and see how benefit it is going to be. Your cache expiries, CDNs, combining the style sheet and JavaScripts, all these important recommendation as well. We will look into it from a client side perspective. Okay. And then from there, we'll go to the database performance. Database from an Oracle perspective, you will try to learn the what is that? Your Oracle process architecture, and then memory architecture. Yeah, important concepts, important metrics from a database or parsing and buffer cache. We will learn what are those buffer cache, what are those parsing, how it is going to impact our response time. Okay, and then we will go and learn how to configure these snapshots in Oracle DB directly, and then creating a snapshots, generating the AWR reports, all these things directly we'll log into Oracle DB, and then we'll go and do these settings and generate snapshot and generate AWR reports, and then we'll go and look into the important sections in the AWR report like load profile, and then DB time, buffer cache hit ratio, parsing, all these things we will be looking into it in detail from a database perspective. Okay, next is going to be, once we done with client side and database, then we'll be going into the monitoring strategy, monitoring approach. How do we go and let me open the monitoring strategy also. So as a engineer, we also should go and create strategy for monitoring. For your architecture, for your components, what are the various tools available? What are the various components that you have to look into it? All these things, similar to test strategy, we should also create a monitoring strategy. Okay, so we'll try to learn how do we go and create the monitoring strategy. What are the various performance counters from app, DB, and OS? We need to look into it. And then we'll, from a JVM perspective, we'll look into JConsole from a JVM monitoring. And then from open source monitoring for your OS, we will learn practically the tick stack, Telegraph, Inflex, Chronograph. And then AppDynamics, as I mentioned, we will go and configure the AppDynamics. We'll go and learn all these business transactions, how to monitor the business transaction, JVM level monitoring, GC monitoring, database monitoring, third-party calls, creating events, how to diagnose the response time problem, how to set alerts. All these things from a monitoring perspective, we will look into JConsole, we will look into open source tick stack, we'll look into AppDynamics. Okay, that is going to be from a monitoring perspective. And then, as I said, finally, we will go to the non-functional requirement and engineering, where we will try to see how do we go and create an engineering strategy, including all these things. The strategy for agile sprint might be different. For a new greenfield implementation might be different. So depending upon the change request, depending upon the requirement for a particular sprint, we'll go and include all the engineering activity or few of the activity. So all these things we will looking into this NFR and engineering strategy section. And then, as I said, we will also go and look into the important aspect for a current job market or current buzzwords in the project, right? DevOps and cloud. So we will go and try to understand what practically, how they do this Jenkins integration, or how performance is integrated with Jenkins. We'll share some of the real-time requirements, real-time implementation, how it is done, more from a process perspective, more from the concept perspective. And we'll also go and integrate JMeter and Jenkins. What are the quality gates? And we'll also go and learn a couple of cloud concept, how cloud is going to be different from normal testing, normal engineering, auto scaling concepts. What are the additional approach the team will have to follow when the application goes to cloud, right? So yeah, so each and every session, whatever I told you, that is how it is going to be structured. And I'll just take a pause now. If there are any questions around whatever I spoken so far, if you have any doubts on these topics, yeah, please feel free to ask. Yeah, please put your questions in the chat, or if you have any questions about the topics, about the setup that you would need in your mission, or anything related to this, please feel to ask a question.
Satish Lokesh here.
Yeah,
Hello,
okay.
Satish. Yeah. So, in order to do all these engineering activities, right, be it Java, heap analysis, and memory leak analysis, does a engineer needs to have any development experience?
No, definitely not. But minimum knowledge of whatever we are going to learn, right? At least we should know when you talk about heap, when you talk about thread, when you talk about method, we should know what is what. Okay, that is very bare minimum knowledge is required so that you will get that confidence. Okay, you know definitely you don't need a development knowledge to do this engineering activity. It is good to have, for sure. It is good to have if you know, it is very good. If you don't know, nothing wrong in it. Okay, when I started the engineering, I didn't have any knowledge. I was a mainframe tester, mainframe developer initially, so it's completely about COBOL and JCL and DB2, so didn't have any experience on this Java side. So from performance tester, and when I wanted to do engineering, it is all about the need. The need was to go and do all this profiling. We just started. Initially it was very tough, don't know what is what. We just use the tool, blindly go and provide the analysis. We will get a lot of questions from a developer architect. They will not even accept our analysis. A lot of odd time, but as time goes, we could able to get into the groove. Similarly, from the session perspective, definitely the basic that is required for you to get that confidence, we are going to give it. But initially you will have challenge, but don't hesitate to face a challenge. Yes, you will get hard time from the developer. That's fine. 1 or 2 projects, 1 or 2 months. After that, I think it will be very comfortable. For in the long run, it's not required for you to have a development knowledge at all. But as you grow, probably you know what is good, and you will probably will get more knowledge on the architecture, on the design, and that is how we grow. So to answer your question, not at all. Minimum level, whatever whatever the in the course we are going to give it, that is good enough to start. But when you're going to work in a project where a technology might be different, okay, say for example, it might be a Python, okay, and it might be some other tech stack, okay. So there you might need to do some kind of a groundwork. And if you go to another project, it will be totally different technology. Technology will keep changing, right? But the basics, whatever we learn here, will definitely help for you to get that initial confidence. And wherever you go, tools are going to be different, environment is going to be different, technology is going to be different. But you know that, okay, this is the general approach I follow. Every technology, every application will have different components. We should try to analyze the architecture and try to see what all native tools are available in each of these software, and then use that for doing the testing or profiling. So that confidence you will get into the course. But to simply put it in a one line, no, you no need a development knowledge to be an engineer.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Satish, I have one question. We are going to cover everything around Java. So, will there be any session like 1 or 2 sessions like which will help for .NET applications as well?
No, the .NET again, as I said, it's a complete different um, a programming framework, right? So currently we don't have a .NET engineering course, which is something going to come up shortly. Okay, in this course, it is complete Java engineering. Okay, so whenever we are going to have that .NET engineering sessions, right? We will try to probably see how we can give some 1 or 2 additional classes for the people who have joined the Java engineering. But from a course content perspective, it is not planned. But since it might be useful to you, once the course is finalized, once the course is available, we will see how to probably have another quick crash course. I mean, for whoever has attended this Java section, right, they can avail that without paying anything. I'll let you know. But from this course perspective, .NET is not planned because again, it will be overwhelming to cover too many things.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Yeah, and .NET, right, now with a lot of things happens for the .NET Microsoft in Azure. Okay, so the way the engineering is totally changed with the Microsoft Azure way of development. There are a lot of Azure profiling tools. So the one which we are going to come up later for .NET exclusively, that will be around Azure. So we'll let you know. But this course content, it has always been for the complete Java. But having said that, apart from Java, right, your client side or your thread analysis or your database monitoring, all the rest of the things are common. Only the initial your response time analysis, memory leak analysis, heap dump, these are very common to specific to Java.
Yeah.
Okay. What I will do is people who have already enrolled, I will give access to the drive as well as to the Google Sheet, and you can follow that and you can start setting it up your mission over the weekend. At least Eclipse, Tomcat, Java, 3 things that you can set it up in your mission. It will be good over the weekend. You can also just ping me, reach out to me if you have any questions on the setup. There will be problems for the first time if you do it right in any missions. You will have problem with Eclipse, you will have the problem with the Tomcat. But as you go and troubleshoot it, you will learn a lot of things. Instead of getting a direct answer, when you go and do a Google, give the error and find out something, you will learn a lot of things out of whenever you face some problem. Okay, so try that out and have the installation over the weekend so that you can start practicing it from Monday. And others who haven't registered, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or Kumar sir regarding the course content or course duration, course fee, whatever it is. Okay, and yeah, we will be starting the session from tomorrow with the Java basics. Okay. Meantime, if you have any doubts, ping me personally or in the group. Fine. If there are no questions, we can meet tomorrow. Tomorrow the session will start for Java. Okay. See you guys tomorrow then.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah. Bye bye.
Thank you.